A lot of times, whenever we want our lives to improve, we look to attack the symptoms, like putting a Band-Aid on, instead of attacking the actual issue, which is us. Because if I can improve me, every single thing I touch will be improved. If I become confident, I have self-respect, self-love, I become strong, I become disciplined, I become joyful, energetic, every single person I interact with will experience a different experience. My job will be different. I'll take more risks. I'll have more opportunities presented to me. I will attract success. So leveraging yourself is the greatest leverage you could ever have. Hey everyone, going to go live and talk about 3 thoughts that keep men stuck in a frustrated life. Maybe a podcast, might not, but I'm going to go through some thoughts that I definitely had whenever I was stuck. And also I run the Men of Fire men's program. It's an elite men's program where we help guys make transformations in their marriage, in their health, in their discipline, financially. We help guys break through, and a lot of it is psychological. You can have all of the best systems and information you want in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right perspective, if you don't know how to battle your own thoughts, then you will be taken out by you. And I post about that a lot. If you notice, Rising Father isn't just me doing bicep curls on every single post. A lot of this stuff is mindset. It's overcoming yourself. Because that's what I had to do for me to rise, for me to quit my job, for me to get in shape, get in the best shape of my life, for me to get disciplined, have morning routines, evening routines, be the most present I've ever been. For everything in my life to change, I had to change. So I had to overcome myself. I still had all the same information I had. I did P90X and was disciplined back when I was 21. And what do you know, 30 years, or not 30 years, when I was 30, about 10 years later, I still had all the same information, but it was me who changed. I developed some mind worms, some mind viruses, and I developed a story about myself that wasn't true. So if you can overcome yourself and battle these thoughts that will keep you stuck, then you can truly rise. No one controls you. Not even your boss. Nobody controls you. You will attract into your life everything you want by the man that you become. I just posted on our Men of Fire program page on Instagram, so check that out so you can see what everyone is doing. This guy just messaged me this morning. He's only been in the group for about a month now, down, 10 pounds or so. He said, one of the reasons I joined was that I can start my own finance company, and all the support and discipline and motivation I got here, I just did it today. He's only 1 month in. It's because of the man that he became. So he is attracting success to him. A lot of times, whenever we want our lives to improve, we look to attack the symptoms, like putting a Band-Aid on, instead of attacking the actual issue, which is us. Because if I can improve me, every single thing I touch will be improved, right? If I become confident, I have self-respect, self-love, I become strong, I become disciplined, I become joyful, energetic, every single person I interact with will experience a different experience. Every single thing I touch will be different. I'll have more care, more discipline. My job will be different. I'll take more risks. I'll have more opportunities presented to me. I will attract success. So leveraging yourself is the greatest leverage you could ever have. The same happens in the opposite direction, though. If you are a negative, toxic, pessimistic person who thinks, well, life is over for me, I'm just going to be complacent and go on easy street, then no one's going to want to work with you. You're going to have no opportunities, and you're not going to see opportunities or success anywhere. So you are the greatest piece of leverage you have in your life. And I'm going to take you through 3 thoughts that hold men down that I found in myself and from the now over 100 guys in 11 different countries that we have in our Men of Fire program, because we do accountability every single day. We share in the group every single day what's holding us down, what do we need to be better, And then we also do weekly check-ins where it's one-on-one weekly check-ins, and we really dig into, okay, what do we have to do this upcoming week to be better? What did we do this last week that we can improve? So I get a lot of personal, deep information from these guys, and I've done, since we started, I don't know, over 1,000. Now these are just 3 of them. I'll do a YouTube video a few weeks from now where I'm going to go through more than 3. But the first one is when you fail, pivot, and rise. A lot of times whenever we have a failure, I know I'm guilty of this, is you will spiral out of control and say, woe is me, say, I always do that, blah, blah, blah. You'll make up negative stories about yourself, and you will crumble. Instead of making a quick alteration, learning your lesson, and rising from it. We call it pivoting and rising. We have a guy in our group who's already had a massive transformation. He went from undisciplined and sloppy to ripped now, and now he's got a back problem. He's got medical issues that are causing him to not be able to get to the steps he wants in. He can't do the same workouts, but it's not a problem. He's meal prepping, he's adjusting, he's pivoting, and then rising. Me, I've got knee issues, shoulder issues. I've got little middle finger, I won't show it to you, issues. So I've got my own little issues right here where I haven't been able to do jiu-jitsu for a month and a half. Jiu-jitsu is you're burning 600 to 800 calories a session. That kept me lean. So I have to pivot. That's a failure. I have to pivot and rise. Now I'm doing work on my phone as I walk around the lake. I am finding other opportunities to stay lean and burn calories. Get more steps in, less intense cardio, but more low-key cardio so I can stay nice and lean and burn calories. You'll have these individual situations in your life. Those are 2 smaller situations, but you'll have bigger situations where you have bigger failures, and you can either crumble or you can rise. On one of the check-ins, a guy in my group talked about he owns a contracting business, and a job that he had months ago, the client, they did a great job for the client. They were happy, but some financing firm or there was some bank problem where they said they weren't happy with something that happened, and they're trying to get $20,000 off the guy. And he said to me on his check-in, he said, in the past, this would have crushed me. He said, but I put it in my let it go bin. It's one of the things we work on, is putting things in the let it go bin. What can you control? What can you not control? In everything you try to control that you can't control, you're adding baggage onto yourself and stealing your presence from the people that matter most in your life. And that's a massive thing, right? You own a business and someone's trying to take $20,000 back from you. That, I know back in the day when I first started my ad agency business, that would have crushed me. I would have crumbled under that. That's the kind of thing that did crush me and crumble me, was client problems, was bank things, lawyer things. That kind of thing really stressed me out, made me anxious. And when I had those failures, I didn't just pivot and rise. I just concentrated on the negative and spiraled. But he said, I am on fire. Like right now, this guy lives in Australia. I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to. But he is just crushing it. He's just absolutely crushing it. He is almost done with his cut with us. We have 2 phases in our program. We have a cut and then we have a bulk. And for our program, we don't just starve you for 90 days and say, look what we did. It's a slow process, and we make sure you're maintaining your muscle while burning fat. We work with Dr. Van Scoy to make sure this is a scientific, safe approach. And then once we post you and you're down, then we reverse the process and do a slow bulk to make sure that these habits that you just learned stay forever. Because the bulk is actually harder than the cut to maintain your discipline, because now you're allowed to eat more. So you might think, well, if I do this, maybe I'll just go back to my old habits. Well, we make sure you don't in phase 2. So he's almost done with his cut. So he's in a calorie deprived state. He's suffering a little bit. Wants to eat, and if you want to get to that super lean look, you can't. You have to just stop eating when you're hungry. You can't just eat all the time. So you have to be in a calorie-deprived state to burn some of that fat off. So he's going through that, and this guy wakes up at like 3:30, 4 a.m. every single morning, has a morning routine. He serves his family. He's an awesome dad, awesome husband, runs a construction business, and he's in a suffering physical state. And he said, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm just going to put it in my can't control bin, just my let it go bin. And he's rising. He's not letting that negative failure thing pull him down. He's not letting this negative thing that happened cause him to spiral, which would then affect every single next thing he interacts with. And who will he interact with? Well, his kids, his wife, his employees, his friends, his family, everybody. So that is called pivoting and rising whenever you have a failure, not letting it spiral. That's number one. Number two is reach out to other men when you struggle. There's this unfortunate, I don't know, I've called this a mind virus, but there's this unfortunate part of the men's space where a lot of people think that, if you have to go solo. If you reach out to other guys and share your struggles, there's something wrong with you. Or you should keep everything to yourself, or somehow you get bonus points if you go it alone, right? No one gets bonus points for going alone. It only takes you longer to get to where you want to go, and the people that matter the most to you get a lesser version of you. A lot of times as guys, we hold on to things for a long time, and we don't want to share it with our wife because we're a little bit embarrassed about how much this thing is holding us down. Definitely don't want to share it with our kids. You don't even want to share it with your friends because of your ego and your identity. You want to be seen a certain way, so you hold it all in. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. Just all your effort and strength is focused on that one thing. But guess what happens to guys when they join a program group like mine and they share these things? Poof, that beach ball bounces out of water, and all their energy, strength, and focus isn't on this one thing they're trying to keep away from everybody. Trauma, abuse, something they regret that they did. Whatever it is, stress, anxiety of the future, of the past. Who knows? We hold on, as men, we hold on to crazy things, and we let it consume us. But as soon as they share it, and another guy says, hey, yeah, man, I'm going through the exact same thing, all of a sudden they have all this energy, presence, and focus to share with the people that matter most in their life. So if you are a guy struggling with something and you've been keeping it to yourself for possibly decades, reach out, share it with somebody, especially in a safe environment like my group. You've got, this is just the culture. This is what we do on our Zoom calls. This is what we do on our live retreats, is we share, we build each other up, we support each other. And you can't imagine the freedom you feel whenever you let that off your chest. The third thing is beware of complacency after making progress. This used to take me out. This takes guys out. And even in my program, this will happen. But because we're aware of it, we're able to stop it. Where if the guy was on his own and he made progress and didn't have us to help him along, he would sabotage himself. So here's what happens. You have a goal for yourself that you make after you usually have a failure of some sort. The way it happened for me was, I remember getting my body to a place that just disgusted me. Like eating so much to where you're just like, okay, I'm not eating because I'm full. I'm going to stop, or I'm not going to stop eating because I'm full. I'm going to stop eating because I'm just grossed out with myself. I remember doing that in years past. But I would also just get my body to a place where it was just grossed out. And then I would get really motivated, right? I would see something on social media, or I would see something that motivated. I would say, today's the day, right? And I would start to get in shape. It would last a couple weeks, maybe a month. I would lose 5-10 pounds. And because of my progress, I would get complacent. I lost the initial motivation and inspiration I initially had when I was at my lowest point. Because now I'm not at my lowest point. I'm not as desperate as I was. So when you're not as desperate to change, you actually change. Your mindset changes. Your perspective changes. And you will be 10 pounds lighter, a little bit of progress, and I can go to McDonald's. I've earned it. And you don't realize, though, that every single day you have to prove who you are. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. Today, you are defining who you are by the actions that you take. So today, if I promised I was going to stick to my diet, my macros, and eat a clean diet, but I go to McDonald's and indulge. So that means that's who I am today. So guess what I'm going to feel like before I go to bed? I'm going to feel like crap because I just proved to myself who I am, and my actions showed that I'm not the person I want to be. And then, if you don't have people like us in the group to guide you through this failure to pivot and rise, then you feel bad about yourself. Like a guy might do this in our program, and they'll just come clean, like, hey, man, I'm sorry, I screwed up yesterday. I went to McDonald's. And we'll just be like, all right, man, right back on the bus. It's okay, pivot, rise, and boom, next day he'll be back. Me, what would happen is I'd make that mistake, and then I would just feel bad about myself. The next day I would say, screw it, I already screwed up, so maybe next week's the week that I'll get back. And then a week would go by, I'd gain all my weight back, and then a month would go by, then a year would go by. That happened to me for like 10 years. I've talked to guys who are in their 40s, 50s, and they're still stuck in that cycle. And they'll still tell me, yeah, I can do it on my own. Maybe next year's the year. When things slow down, when the timing's right, when the stars align, when God comes down and hands me the perfect scenario where I can try a little bit hard, then I'll get my stuff together. I'll get my life together when everything is easy and I have to put forth zero effort, zero investment, and no risk. Then it will be worth to me to make a life change. I hear that a lot. And then you have other guys who are in that motivated, desperate state, and they say, no, I need to do everything I can right now, and they act. You also have an in-between group of people who have willpower, and they don't have to be in the motivated, desperate state to take action. They just know that something has to change, and their years are running out. It's like that the sands of time keep on coming out of the hourglass, and they say, I thought when I was in my 20s, I'd get my shit together. Then it's, I thought when I was in my 30s I would. And they say, oh crap, I'm in my 40s and I'm still undisciplined. I still have no routines. I wake up whenever. I don't even have a bedtime. I don't schedule my day. I kind of just wake up and see what happens. My entire life is just chaotic. I'm skating right now. Everything could crash and burn. And they realize that. And then they say, yeah, things can't go on like this. Not only for me, but I'm supposed to be the leader of my family. I want to be a rock for my wife to where she can just lean on me and rely on me. I want to provide a good path for my kids. I don't want my kids going to college or starting their own business and be completely lost because that's what their dad did. And they just have willpower and they say, okay, it's time to go. It's time to act. So let's recap. Complacency after making progress. You did something good, so now you deserve to indulge. That takes out many, many, many guys. And if you don't have people to put you back on track and guide you, it can take you out permanently year after year after year. Nathan, my son, my 10-year-old son, came up with a great family motto. One of the exercises we did in my group was we said, come up with a family motto. And I told this to Nathan, and he said, how about the best never rests? And I said, I love that. That's exactly what I need to battle one of my self-sabotaging tendencies. The best never rests. That means that after you have a win, you have to push harder. You just had a win. That doesn't mean you get to take a nap, go to sleep, go on vacation. That means no, you need to prove to yourself that this isn't a one-time thing. Second thing, reach out to other men when you're struggling. So when you are struggling, reach out to someone else and release that beach ball. That is, not doing that is one of the thoughts that holds men back for a long time. And the first thing we talked about was when you fail, pivot and rise. Don't spiral. Don't wallow. Don't make things worse. Just pivot, learn your lesson, forget about it, and move on. Pivot and rise. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. This was 3 thoughts that I found keep men stuck in frustrated lives. Let me know what you think.